Hello and welcome back to Digital Asset Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Tonight I'm going to discuss a few things that I think are very important that you're probably not going to hear, as I kind of had to learn things out the hard way that had not been told to me as well. So let's just dive right in and then we'll get to the point very shortly. Joint letter with the SEC is a clear victory for Ripple, says Jeremy Hogan. And according to Jeremy Hogan, the SEC's argumentation in the joint letter lacks any factual basis, while Ripple convinces with facts. The letter is the first impression for the judge and could therefore have an important influence on the outcome. Now, the Ripple price forecast, XRP is about to break out to 65 cents. As they're stating, the Ripple price is bounded inside a descending triangle pattern on the 4-hour chart. And the TD sequential indicator has printed a buy signal, giving credence to the bulls. Vechain price forecast, now VET, moves closer to a 45% breakout. So Vechain price slid a consolidation period after surging nearly 85%. Now that faces stiff resistance at 0.053, and that will determine where it will be heading next. Slicing through this critical barrier will push this altcoin's market value by 45 cents, although failing to do so could lead to a 25 or a 20% correction. Now, the next thing I really want to get into and discuss is Ledger. Obviously, let's go with their headline right there, because if you have one, be aware of ongoing phishing campaigns. Scammers are targeting Ledger customers. That alone in itself is very frustrating, but let's move into it. Your way to financial freedom. Enjoy security, ownership, and ease of use for your crypto with Ledger. Do I think it protects your currencies? At this point, it has protected many people's assets for years. Now, here's the trick. Here's the thing you're going to need to watch out for. Whether you have it and haven't come across this yet, haven't tried to move anything off of your Ledger, or whether you're new and you want the safety and the security with a Ledger. This is nothing necessarily negative towards Ledger, but I think it just needs to be a little more out in the open and clear. If you are moving your Ethereum tokens, what I would label them as Ethereum tokens is ERC20 tokens. Make sure that on your Ledger that you have basically, I would say, pure Ethereum, like direct Ethereum. If you're on a typical exchange, as you hear, if it's on the exchange, it's not your crypto, not your currency, not unless you're holding the keys, not your currency, as it's been stated. So a lot of people choose to use hard wallets. Now, the trick of that is what isn't very clear, whether they don't quite know or haven't come across this yet and tried to move it off of Ledger. I think this is where the surprise will be. You have to have what I call pure Ethereum, regular ETH, on your Ledger before you can move your assets off. If you're on an exchange and, for example, let's say you move Holochain or Zenfen or PundiX or something that is an ERC20 token onto your Ledger, when you leave from that exchange, it's going to charge you a fee from that currency to move it. But now when you're actually on your Ledger and you try to move those back to the exchange, they want to charge you true Ethereum, ETH, for the fees to move it back. It doesn't work the same way it did from the exchange to the Ledger. I think that should be, on their homepage, a major own little section that should be highlighted, just the same that this phishing campaign is on their front page. I think it should have another one right beside it that says, remember, if you put ERC20 tokens on your Ledger, put Ethereum on there as well. Now, here's where the trick comes. For those of you who have XRP, on your ledger, and you opened up an ERC20, the Ethereum account for your FLR, your Flare network, your little airdrop. If you don't already have Ethereum on there, now you have a blank, an open, empty Ethereum account. It's now connected and correlated to your FLR airdrop. But because the airdrop has not happened, and I don't believe it happens until around June, possibly June 1st, but in June, then you're going to get your 15%. Now, if you have a deadline from one of your other assets, like Zenfin XDCE, swap to your XDC, and you're holding it on your ledger. Now, here's where the trick begins. If you try to move it off, you cannot. And I don't have an answer for this, but here's the way I feel. I feel if you were to use one of the empty Ethereum that is designated for your FLR, it could possibly reject that FLR if there's any of the Ethereum in it. And sometimes whenever you're using Ethereum to pay gas fees, it doesn't take the whole lot of the Ethereum. It doesn't take all of the asset. It sometimes will leave like a trace amount, like a 0.000023 or some random amount in there. So then it ties up that amount. I haven't heard back from Ledger on their advice for that, but that's the way I envision it, is typically if you have something designated for FLR, now when you use it, is it going to burn that as now an Ethereum account, even if it's empty, or will it still be able to hold that FLR in that address? That's going to be something very tricky. But now there was almost a solution, and I'll explain that too. In the ledger, there's now the swap, or the connecting to a third-party exchange and allowing you to purchase it. Trick to that is, if you live in Florida, it is not available to you. So that was going to be another idea, to be able to just stay inside of the ledger, to be able to purchase some Ethereum, to be able to move those other assets off of it and to just get rid of them. But the trick is, if you live in Florida, you still cannot buy on the exchange. It's not permitted quite yet to Florida residents. So there was an update. I just want you to be careful. That's something that I'm able to share with you so that you do not have that happen to you. So again, if you live in Florida, you will not be able to use the ledger to connect direct and stay on your ledger wallet for the safety of being able to use the exchange internally to buy more Ethereum for your ERC20 tokens. So again, if you are going to use it and it's an ERC20 token, make sure that you do add your Ethereum into the wallet before you do connect it to the FLR, because those of you who hold the ledger and you have had your XRP on the ledger before December 12th, 2020, you're still able to connect and be a part of the Flare Network airdrop for the FLR that is coming in June. June 1st is the deadline, so do it before then, but you still have a little time. All right, guys, I hope that's an update that helps you, save you from a mistake or a little bit of a headache, as I had spent a few hours trying to sort all of this out. The thing that makes it tough is you can't just give someone a call like you could at Apple or Verizon or whatever your major company is in your area that you would typically call to contact. Just doesn't have that type of support, at least not yet. You guys, to remember, it's not financial advice for entertainment purposes only, but anything that I can learn that I believe will help you, I am going to share it. And then hopefully, again, as I said, hopefully it helps save you from that trouble and make your investment time just a little bit easier. And as always, before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. A setback is just a setup for a comeback. Before we go, I want to say thanks to our VIP Patreons, Surf and Gary Davidson. Much love to all of you, and we'll catch you in the next one.